Individuals work in teams to create value. Individuals communicate with each other in order to create value. Individuals interact in teams to create value. No matter how you want to slice up the collaboration equation, that's what it is we get together, we work together, we get things done. And so we transform information into product. We have like a plan or an idea. That's just information. We go out, gather some data. That's information. Figure out what the client wants. That's information. And then we make everything from a sandwich to a Lamborghini to meet their needs. So work is literally the action of taking information and making something out of it. Okay. That always requires at least two people, at least the person doing some work and the person needing the product of that work. Otherwise, it's just you screwing around, and that's not, you're not going to pay yourself for doing work. So work is actually doing that. It's taking information, turning it into products. It's not the tasks. Work isn't the plan. Work isn't the KPIs. It is the transformation of nothing into something that somebody wants. And so what we want in any collaborative team is to have strong professionals in that team that can then give you a fantastic delivery. So we want those professionals to be able to get together and get that work done. And that information doesn't flow on its own. It doesn't, people aren't just like, today I just don't feel like giving anybody any information. It's because we make it so difficult for people to share information with each other that they don't. And I can tell you right now that even when Tony and I, who work together pretty well, there have been times over the last several months where we've gotten really busy and it has become hard for us to share information. And the moment that we don't, we feel its absence. We feel like we're not communicating. And then that comes with all sorts of like guilt and frustration. And then you're like trying to like figure out how to fix that. And the next thing you know, you've got a bunch of unnecessary work because you weren't paying attention to what your team needed right now. And that is a function of what people need to do right now with who they are. So what are they capable of doing? What do they want to do? What does their job description say they should do? What does the work currently require of them that's outside that description? What do they want to do right now that they can't do right now because they're forced to do something else? Then the other part there is your stakeholders. Most of the teams that we work with don't know who their stakeholders are. Just flat out, you don't know who your stakeholders are. You don't know who it is that is actually judging your work and saying if it's valuable or not. And the reason that projects fail most often is because you did a whole lot of work to appease one stakeholder who was like a real pain in the butt, but you didn't appease the other stakeholders. And then you get to the end and they're like, this doesn't give us any of the things that we need. And then you feel like a schmuck. Don't feel like a schmuck. So we want to know what the team needs. We want to know what the individuals on the team needs. We need to know what the stakeholders need. We need to know what the work that is happening right now needs. Yes, needs. That's right. There's that word again. So we want to make sure that when we're visualizing our work in our Obeas and when we're talking about things as a group, that we're answering these questions. What are these things and are they being met? So we want to make work visual and real time and shared, and that can be in an interface you create. It could be in Miro. It could be in your Kanban. It could be anywhere that your team and the people that you're working with agree is where the information is going to be. And then once you agree on that, you make sure that it's updated so that it stays that way, so that everybody stays knowing what's going on. Because the moment that they don't is the moment that everything is going to fall apart. And if you're underperforming, it's largely because you're underinforming. And if someone on your team feels underinformed, then they are. So if someone says, I don't feel like I have enough information about this, don't argue with them because you're wrong and they're right. If they feel like they don't have enough information, then they literally don't have enough information. That's independent of whether you feel like you gave them enough information. All right? They just don't have enough information. So what we don't necessarily want work-life balance. What we want is a quality of life. And so we want to make sure that the systems that we're building are giving us the quality of life that we want. Like right now, I'm working a tremendous amount, but things are starting to feel pretty good. And if you guys have been paying attention to the videos I've been making over the last year, you know that that's actually a change, right? So, work ebbs and flows, satisfaction ebbs and flows. Watch what you need as a professional and what the people around you as professionals need, and make sure that they get them. So that we want to make the work visible, we want to make the work shared, we want to make communication flow. Because right now, there's a lot of people watching this video that think that a team is 7 plus or minus 2 people. And I'm telling you that this picture right here is a team. This is literally a stand-up meeting. This is literally a huddle at the beginning of the day on a construction project. And if you want to build a skyscraper with 7 plus or minus 2 people, you're toast. You're just toast. So that is today's little talk. Thanks, everybody. Like and subscribe. Stick around. Thanks.